Welcome back to Nine's Corner. I am Nine. It's nice to meet you. And if you're returning, welcome back, my dear friends. Well, dear ones, I was having the most brilliant day. Spring has sprung. You're starting to see the buds come out on my lilac trees. I was doing a lot of around the house, cleaning, gardening, dealing with my eggs and dropping off some eggs to a new friend and the whole 9 yards. And I was listening to music, just a really pleasant day. Even to the point where I was doing the dishes and I felt this little extra spring in my step. And then I got ready for bed and I lied down and I started watching YouTube and it was like, what? Leak in the legal system and the Supreme, just what? And then I'm looking over here going, grand jury, they're going to be put together, but they're not going to get to call any witnesses until after the election of 2022. That was courtesy of my friend in my head, Glenn Kushner. So I was just like, oh my God, I had this really strong want to just jump up and do a reading. And then I looked over at my closet door. My closet door is one of those, the fold, the old fashioned fold apart. And I always close my closet. I don't like having closets open. It's just a thing. And I looked over, I had the light on, the lamp on next to my bed. I looked over, my closet door is open, and there's this when your clothes is pushed apart and there's that little triangle of space to show you this is where you're going to put in clothes or take out clothes. And there was Ruth, my Ruth shirt. And I thought, oh my God, this was a calling to do a reading. So first up, I think we'll talk about Trump, what's going to happen with the jury, especially through our friend Glenn Kushner. We found out that through tradition, they don't like to do anything during the time leading up to the election. So they're going to decide not to do anything. So they'll get the jury selected, but they won't actually get witnesses or be able to subpoena anybody until after the elections. And then you're thinking, dear God, what happens if the Republicans ever were to make their way in and get their numbers up? And then the next thing, what happens to this? It's what? And the Republicans would never, they would never give Democrats the respect of saying, hey, leading up to this, we won't do that. They would go, if it worked for them, if it fits their agenda, they would do it. So I don't understand this tomfoolery when it comes to this. This is when you go, I wish Glenn Kushner was actually the DOJ. Because I just feel yes, Glenn, go for it. He'd just go insane over him. So let's do a full Celtic reading and let's just look at how the story goes. What's happening with Donald Trump and this grand jury? What's going to be the future findings? And by looking at that story, we can see if the elections are going to affect it or whatnot. So let's have a look. So we've got the Queen of Swords. So here we've got the person in place doing their job, getting the information that goes against Trump. They've got a lot of information. There's a lot of story here to be told. There's a lot of papers, text messages. They have the legal backing and they know what the story is 100%. Crossing them is the hangman, trying to see it from a different direction, trying to see it from a different perspective. So I think here you've got, on the one side, the Democrats trying to be good and do it according to ritual and tradition, and the Republicans would, take the Democrats down if it meant they'd get ahead. So it's sort of you've got different people looking at the situation differently, from depending on what political side you're on. And this worries me, because is this going to change the situation? Can you guys see that? I'm worried that this is going to change the situation, that we have the information, we have the legal documents that will go after Trump, but for some reason there's this push to change it. And if they wait until the 2022 elections, and if the Republicans, for God forbid, were ever to get in, then this could all blow up in everybody's face. So underneath it, oh my God, this is done for the purpose of trying to steal. they are trying to literally cause deception. There's a betrayal that's going on here. In the past, we have the Four of Pentacles trying to hold on. Trump was trying to hold on to his position of power. He wanted to remain president. Unfortunately, I feel as though these actions are not just willy-nilly happening. I think these are thought out and pushed plans where they're like, look, let's push it to this, let's push it to that, knowing what the Democrats would do. We've got the Ten of Wands, a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. The strain is on. I think there's a pressure here that there's this huge pressure on one side pushing Trump to be responsible and accountable for his misdeeds and misdoings. But I also think that because the Ten of Wands is here, it's showing that there's a plethora of people that are involved that would be of the Republican persuasion. So there's other people that can get involved and get in trouble. So it's their best interest to try to change the mind. Hangman trying to slow things down. And I really feel like they're hoping that they'll be able to make this big change in 2022 and that this they can try to get rid of. Knight of Cups. So here we're going to see... this is, oh, yes, I said I got up out of bed and I actually just realized I have my pajama bottoms on. Okay, help me. So I really feel this is a charm offense. This is them trying to delay, trying to put all their ducks in a row so they can get into a position where they can counter this or get rid of this. The Judgment card. Oh, sorry, guys. The Judgment card. So here, oftentimes when the Judgment card comes up, it's not just about judging or being judged. It's about how things are being affected spiritually. And on a spiritual level, there's been a change in the Republican Party in which they have given up part of themselves to be part of the Trump org, part of that Trump cult or whatever you want to call it. I think this is really pushing. I think that this is having an internal conflict within the Republicans that they're, it's like everything else. You've got your Republicans that are with Trump and don't care, but you also got good Republicans who probably just can't, speak their truth because they have to look like they're siding and that's who they represent, but they're not, totally into it, but they don't have freedom to say. And it's just that feeling of a lot of judgment happening, but it's happening within the Republican Party. This is really fracturing the party. Eight of Cups. So it's so weird because the people that are surrounding this situation are literally turning their back and saying, okay, we know that's happening, but we're just going to walk away for right now because it's important to allow the elections to be done without any kind of bias or any kind of anything that's thought to be bias. But no matter what they do, oh my gosh. So the Seven of Pentacles, there's a feeling that they're weighing out the situation, slow and steady. They don't want to have anything that's going, in their head that would deter the case on Donald Trump. But this just goes in completely with a delay tactic. This is a delay tactic in hopes that come 2022, they will be able to do something about this situation. This is scary. The energy of community here is scary. Right now, I think that Donald Trump and the Republicans who have supported him and that are part of this situation, dealing with the phone call, the extra 11,000 plus, Trump would not be able to do this on his own. It's in collaboration. So as the energies stand right now, I think that this just shows that Trump will again get to delay the situation. He won't have to deal with this until after the elections. I don't see the situation. It doesn't look like the situation's going to be stopped. It's just halted. I really don't understand why they are not pursuing this regardless. It just feels like, if this was in the Republican Party, they would not be bowing to tradition. Defending himself. King of Pentacles. Page of Swords. So this is definitely defending, delaying tactics for Trump, dealing with a lot of money, and not just money, because the pentacles can be materialistic things, votes, that kind of thing. With the Page of Swords here, right now, it looks like Donald Trump and the Republicans are hopeful that they can do enough to delay the situation. But as the energies are, it looks like this will go ahead. This is not going to stop. But there's a lot of work and delay. The 2022 elections are going to be so important. It's really going to change and weigh out these situations that we're talking about. If I look at these three cards here, this also could be a representation of Donald Trump. Because if you've seen him recently, he is literally repeating the same thing over and over and over again. So this could be showing me a health issue having to do with Donald Trump, having to do with communication, and oh Lord, we could be looking at being set up here for cognizant issues, cognitive issues, definitely in line with dementia or even Alzheimer's. For our next reading, we're going to look at the leaked legal document that is showing that the Supreme Court looks to be supporting overturning Roe versus Wade. Now, I did two readings, one in July, one in September of 2021 about Roe versus Wade, saying that, yes, Roe versus Wade would stand up, but they would find another way around it. I think accusing the Supreme Court to say, hey, we're not going to make this illegal. We're just going to send it back to the states rather than it being a Supreme Court issue. That's really, from what I can gather and understand, that's the core of it. That's basically what they'd be looking at. So then you'd be looking at certain states having it okay, certain states not having it. Would there be, abortion tourism within? It opens up a whole can of worms. And the fact that this was leaked, by whom and for what purpose, for what reason? Because, The fact that something from the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, can be, put out in public is a scary thought. Now, I will say here in Canada, abortion is not criminal. It is legal at any stage of the process, and that it is considered a decision made between a woman and her healthcare provider. So whether or not you agree with abortion, if it's something that you would be able to do or you wouldn't be able to do, that's not the question. It's not about a personal value, which it seems like this is all getting into everybody's personal, moral, religious issues. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is a huge leak to find out that you could be looking at Roe versus Wade actually being overturned. This is huge. Let's look at the who, what, where, when, why of the leaked document and see if we can come up with any kind of understanding. Well, here's the star, here's the gossip, here's letting the information out. There's a string attached, there's a reason why this information came out. The Six of Wands. Somebody wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that this was happening within the court. These are the things that were being spoken about. With the Six of Wands here, I doubt it very much we're looking at anybody in a high position. We're looking at somebody who works for or underneath the Supreme Court, but for some reason they felt it really important morally to get that information out so that it would make the rounds and get the communication going about it. Knight of Swords. Wow. Underneath all of this, there really is a highly charged situation of opinions. And there's a feeling of maybe we should rush in and do it because this is the chance, the opportunity to get this changed at this point in time. In the past, Hangman, you've got people thinking from a different situation. I think you had more people thinking in lines of the law rather than thinking of their political standing or how basing it more in law rather than with their own moral compass or their own party compass. Oh, the Empress always comes up. Women, we need to get together. We don't do enough to get together and support each other and be behind each other. We rip each other down for no reason. But this, look, the Empress is right here. We're dealing with babies. We're dealing with women. And this is going to be something that women are going to come out and they are going to talk. Women are going to get out and say, woman, hear me roar. I talked about this in my previous reading where I felt that we're going to get into a situation where this is going to become a conversation. This is going to be something that women are going to have to get together. But we also need women to get men behind them. This is going to be a bit chaotic, guys. Oh, chaotic. I really feel like, we're on so many levels. We're on a moral, spiritual, who's the U.S. ? And then bringing it down to, you've got one side that wants to tear this down and start again or start from a different base, but then it's also politically charged. So it's going to blow up in everybody's face. This is going to happen. Dear. Hala, look at this. The Lovers. People around are looking at the personal relationship and the things that result from that relationship and pregnancy of a couple. You're seeing two sides of the situation. The Lovers is oftentimes, I've said it, I'm sure you've heard me say it 1,000 times, that when I see the Lovers cards, this is the problems from the past coming back up into the future, having to deal with love, having to deal with relationships. King of Wands, they are trying to, it's like this is the time when they can envision changing Roe versus Wade and just saying, you know what, we put our hands up, let it go back to the individual states and let us take our hands out of it. That's how it feels. And it's like, this is the time, this is what we could do, but this is just not good information. 9 of Pentacles. Somebody's getting their wish. Somebody's getting their wish. So this was released because they thought the information had to go out. The Hangman here, it's almost like this was purposely done to put pressure on the decision-making people, maybe on the people that would be the 5 to 4. So you're looking at Kavanaugh and the I wonder if this was why they were trying to change the mind of Kavanaugh. Maybe they felt that if they put this out, this would put pressure on Kavanaugh to change his mind. Or somebody within that group of 5. I don't have their names here. I should have written them down, but I don't. So I just want to look at that. It was this. So, okay. Was this leaked with the purpose of trying to get one of the 5 to change their minds? 100%. 5 of Pentacles, trying to cut off somebody's religious thoughts, feelings, and emotions and say, hey, you're not doing what's legally right. You're going with what your religion, your spirituality, your moral code, what have you. So this was trying to isolate somebody. There's some trying to get somebody, the Ace of Swords, trying to get somebody to change their mind. Specifically, the Fool. 100% this was done. Oh my God. This is not just, oops, something got leaked. Somebody's going to get in a terrible amount of trouble. So whoever leaked this, your job is gone. Not just your job, your reputation, everything. But this is going to blow up on people. This is going to become something. I got a strong indication here that this was leaked in order to change somebody's mind, to put pressure on somebody to change their mind, to make them feel like if you side against Roe versus Wade, then there could be consequences for you. I wonder if somebody was like, pinpointing Kavanaugh, pinpointing a certain person, thinking that if we put pressure on you, because that's definitely the feeling here of this was done to put out gossip, to put out information in order for people to be aware that there's a real possibility that the Supreme Court will want to change Roe versus Wade. Again, we have the Empress here. The Empress is really saying, you know what, this is not going to change overnight. This is going to be the beginning of debates, talks, conversations, women, families. People got to stand up and speak up for whatever side it is that you believe, because we all have to have that freedom of speech and being able to say what you feel and have your beliefs. But it's going to be delayed. So, this has been leaked. This could actually cause the leak is going to actually cause a delay. So Roe versus Wade is still going to be able to hold itself up for now. I think this is gonna get some momentum. And I think it was done on purpose to persuade one of the justices to not do this, because it's almost like this is going on behind closed doors when all this crazy stuff is happening, so that, hello guys, be aware that, this is happening. That's the feeling. I don't know if that person is going to look like a whistleblower or a martyr, or I guess depending on what side you are, how you feel about it. Let me know how you feel about all of this in the comments below. So I think we'll leave the reading there for now. All right, my dear friends, I thank you for spending the time during this emergency reading because I literally had to get up out of bed to do it. As always, I have our unity candle lit for each and every one of us. Please feel free to like, subscribe, resubscribe. Until the next time we chat, my friends. Take care. Cheerio.